Podcast number 56 is again about parametric functions. So graph this using the graphing calculator. So I've already gone to the mode and made sure that it's in radians and made sure it's in parametric form. And then erase the old problem and type in the new one. So it says x equals tangent of t and then y equals secant. My calculator doesn't have secant, so I have to change that to 1 divided by cosine. And then, let's see, the window, right now it's going from 0 to 2 pi, that's fine. This is the default, pi over 24, that's fine. I'm not sure what to put for x and y, so I'm going to change it to negative 10 to 10 and then see if that's good enough to see the graph. Okay, this is an example where the graphing calculator just made a mistake. So this is what the graph is supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like this and this. And that is called a hyperbola. And with a hyperbola, it has asymptotes. So there's an asymptote that goes like this. And then this part is going to get closer and closer, and this part's going to get closer and closer to the dotted line. Likewise, there's this dotted line like this. So that's what the graph really looks like. Now, on the calculator, you might be thinking, well, right there, it drew the asymptotes. Well, that calculator is really not that bright. No. So for one thing, the asymptotes are supposed to be dotted lines, and also they're not supposed to touch. So the problem is what the calculator does is with this right here being pi over 24, it plugs in 0, then 1 pi over 24, 2 pi, 3 pi, and it eventually gets to right here. And the next point that it plugs in gives it this as the next dot. So the calculator thinks it's supposed to connect those dots, and it's not supposed to. Okay, we've done the graphing part. Now eliminate the parameter. Well, with secant and tangent, we're going to use this trig identity. 1 plus tangent squared is equal to secant squared. And this has already been solved for tangent, so I could just square both sides. And that means that this tangent squared can be replaced with x squared. On this one, I could also square both sides. So that means that this secant squared can be replaced with y squared. And then that is a hyperbola, although usually you have the variables on one side and the number 1 on the other side. So really, it should be written like this. And when you go to graph a hyperbola without a calculator, you look at which variable is positive, and then that's the axis it's going to be hitting. So it's going to be hitting the y-axis right here and right here. And also, if you plug in that x equals 0, then you would get y equals, you'd square root 1, you get y equals positive 1 and negative 1. And that's everything for number 56.